And we're back. This is Hook and Ladder. We're week 8 into this long, short season. Georgia's bye week, but that doesn't mean games going on.
Lots of good games.
And it was an exciting week to say the least. I guess we'll get started with Ohio State knocked off Iowa 54-10. Iowa sucks. They can't move the ball to do it. I mean, they should be better off running the option at this point.
Yeah, their defense is pretty good, but 6 turnovers doesn't really help your defense. Put them in a bad position. Yeah. You know, it was fairly close, uneventful first half. Iowa's touchdown was a scoop and score, so that's kind of a defensive score. But Ohio State, second half they kind of got things going, capitalizing on the turnovers. Me and Jerry watched this game, and kind of turned it off like third quarter. Like you knew Iowa couldn't score, and once Ohio State was like a 4th and goal, and they went for it, threw a touchdown to Harrison Jr. I was like, let's change it. Game's over right then. At that point, it was like 30 to 10. It was over. Hell, it was over like second quarter, but still, Yeah. Ohio State's a good football team.
They are. I mean, they hadn't played anybody.
Yeah, and I want to see what their offensive and defensive line is going to look like when they play somebody that can actually challenge them.
That game against Michigan is looming large.
Yeah, it was the last game of the season. It kind of sucks that it takes the 12th game of the season to actually come up against a team that can push you. They're playing Penn State this weekend. Penn State's not going to be able to handle it.
No. Moving right along, Tennessee played like you expect Tennessee to play. They knocked off UT Martin 65-24. This game was never in doubt.
No, and good teams beat the hell out of these lesser opponents, and that's what they did.
Yeah,
had a couple of trick plays they threw in there, which was pretty cool. Yeah. I didn't watch this game because it was a cupcake. We watched this one we're going to talk about next. It's Clemson Syracuse.
Yes, this is a big deal here. Clemson Syracuse. Clemson won 27-21. DJ got benched.
He didn't. He played bad.
Yes.
Not only did the fumble and the 2 interceptions were not good throws, just bad throws. One of them he didn't even see the DB. The other one he just didn't throw it quick enough. He looked awful. Their offense looked bad. The only bright spot for them was their tight end. Made a couple of plays first half, and then Will Shipley. Defensively, that defensive line is good, but if you can block them for just like a couple of seconds, you can get open on the secondary. That's what Syracuse was doing the entire first half. Give Clemson credit. Second half, they shut that down, but you could still move. You could still move the ball in Syracuse.
Right.
I mean, not Syracuse. Rather Clemson. Syracuse has a couple of good wideouts. Aranda Gadsden's kid, which made me feel old, that he's playing for Syracuse. He was pretty good. They had another wideout that was good. The running back was okay, but Clemson's in that conference. ACC's kind of a joke. There's not a ton of guys that are excellent elite skill guys they're going to come up against, but you can move the football on them.
Right.
But they, like I said, they clamped down second half. Klubnik, I think it's Klubnik, came in, looked really good, running the football. Passed a few kind of short passes, did throw one deep ball, but they were going to lose this game.
Yeah.
And then that 3rd and a mile, that late hit.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should call that there, but it's a little ticky-tack, but yes, it is a penalty. Mm-hmm. I have a problem with the officiating in that because there was a pass interference down at the goal line, which is clearly garbage. But they didn't call the late hit on the Syracuse quarterback. Mm-hmm. If you're going to do it, you call it both ways. It was the exact same play pretty much. They were around the same amount of out of bounds area. Right. Same distance out of bounds, I guess we're trying to say. And they didn't
call home cooking with the refs.
Yes, and then there was some people today saying, you need to get your eyes checked. I'm like, no. Take off the homer glasses, be objective for a second. You got the benefit of a few calls. It's great when it happens for your team, but I still think Syracuse could have won that game. Yeah. Still great story for Syracuse. It was first loss. They probably won't get another one this year.
Right. I mean, they're in line for a good bowl game.
Yeah, and Clemson doesn't have anybody else on the schedule that can challenge them. Right. Really. I mean, I don't think they're really that good of a team. Are they the number 5 team in the country? I don't think so. No. But they're going to probably make the playoffs based on the fact they don't play anybody. At least Ohio State gets Michigan at the end of the year. The West is a joke, except for Illinois. Illinois is almost on the cusp of winning the Big Ten West. Right. They're pretty good. The rest of that side of the conference is a joke.
Right.
just like the entire ACC other than Clemson. I mean, guys, remember at the beginning of the year we were talking about Miami, NC State, Florida State, all those teams look like crap now.
It is what it is. Moving right along, Alabama knocked off Mississippi State 30-6. Really surprised that Mississippi State didn't put up more of a fight on this one.
They kind of did in the first half. They moved the ball really well. I watched this game. They moved the ball at will, missed fourth downs, dropped touchdown passes, missed all sorts of missed opportunities. Before you know it, when you miss a fourth down, Bryce Young just takes him down the field and scores a touchdown. So you're moving the ball on. You're just not getting any points. They missed a field goal.
Right.
You can't do that in Alabama. You got to put points on the board in those situations.
You have to execute.
Exactly. You move the ball between the 20s perfectly. You get inside the 20 and you shit the bed. Alabama took advantage, and it was a lopsided victory. But in the first half, it was a lot different.
That's right. Moving right along, Ole Miss, another undefeated team, lost to an unranked team, LSU 45-20. Disappointing performance from Ole Miss. Couldn't stop anybody.
Nope.
Made LSU look better than they are.
I got to give LSU credit. They looked really good in the second half. Mm-hmm. They were down. They came back. Jaden Daniels, I think, scored 5 touchdowns. Another huge game for him running the football. And he's not a bad passer. Right. That game against Florida State, he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Got to give Kelly credit. He got his guys ready to go, turn the ship around. They looked like crap against Florida State. They lost, on the crazy end of the game there, and then they got blown out by Tennessee. But there was a lot of, just like the Mississippi State, muffed kickoff. And then you go for it on fourth down, don't make it, and you give Tennessee a short field. So it was kind of out of hand before they could even really get going. Right. I think LSU is a much improved team. Ole Miss, you hate to say it, we kind of saw this coming at some point. Maybe not to LSU, but you could see it coming at some point. Yeah. They kept making mistakes. They weren't closing teams out. I still think Ole Miss is a good football team.
They are.
But LSU's coming out at the right time. I still don't like the Brian Kelly hire, but he's got him going.
Yeah.
The transformation of Daniels is huge because he looked like ass for the first couple weeks of the season.
That's right. Moving right along, TCU remains undefeated, knocking off Kansas State 38-28. TCU's just getting it done. They're hanging around.
They were getting crushed in the first half. I turned to another game because I was like, "Whoa, Kansas is gonna, without their starting quarterback, Kansas is gonna upset TCU." Yeah. And then I flipped it back some way through the third quarter. It was 28-24. Kansas State was still leading, but by 4. I was like, "All right, TCU's coming back." I started watching it, and they just put on an offensive clinic against them. Really cool to see. I'm enjoying the Big 12.
Yeah.
Easily the most competitive conference in the country right now. Mm-hmm. That and the Pac-12. But Oklahoma State won. Right in the ship there. Huge game with Texas. So,
a game they had to have.
Yeah, Baylor won. It's shaping up. Next couple of weeks is going to be huge for that conference. I still think it's going to be in TCU and Oklahoma State in a rematch.
That's probably what it's going to be in. But moving right along. Oregon knocks off an undefeated UCLA 45-30. Congratulations, Oregon, for after that blowout to start the season. They've really turned it around.
Looking great. Bo Nix, 5 touchdowns. Bo Nix is good again.
Yes. At home. Apparently, at home he's good. On the road or on neutral sites, not so much.
He looked really good yesterday. The whole team looked good. I won the big bet. This was my big bet game. Mm-hmm. I won on this one. A lot of my friends thought I was crazy. Like, no way. Bo Nix isn't going to win this game. And sure enough, UCLA is a good football team still. They got a lot to going for them in the Pac-12. Pretty much everybody has a loss in the Pac-12 with the exception of Oregon. Their losses to Georgia. Pac-12 redid their whole conference deal. It's not the North and the South. It's the 2 best teams. Utah's still in it. USC's still in it. UCLA. Everybody's in it. Nobody's really, other than I think Washington and shit in the bed, everybody is pretty much still in it right now.
Cool.
A lot can change, but I mean, that's, again, the Big 12 and the Pac-12 are looking a lot of fun.
Yes. Moving right along, Oklahoma State knocked off Texas. This was an interesting game. 41-34. Oklahoma State righted the ship, got the win against a surging Texas team.
So I'm sitting there with Jerry watching this game on TV.
Yeah.
He's got his phone out watching the Wisconsin-Purdue game. And Wisconsin was putting it to Purdue. And if Wisconsin won that game, Illinois is virtually a lock for the Big Ten West. we decided, and you're in on this. You weren't there, but you're in on this. We're going to Indy. We're going to the Big Ten championship game. If Illinois makes it, we're going to the Big Ten championship game.
I don't know if I have a problem with that.
So apparently Jerry's going to drive, which is good because we'll probably boozing it up in the backseat.
Leave that.
It's only a 9-hour drive. We can leave like the day before.
Is that Friday night or is that?
It's a Saturday, and what's crazy is the Big Ten's always a noon conference.
Right.
The Big Ten championship's a night game.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to this game. So as I'm watching Oklahoma State and Texas is winning, I keep telling him, dude, Oklahoma State's going to come back and win this game. And I don't think he's really paying attention because he's watching the other game on his phone.
Right.
All excited that Wisconsin is going to be in the lead Illinois is going to be in the lead in the Big Ten West. And lo and behold, slowly but surely, Oklahoma State decided to turn it around. And they come back and win. A couple of interceptions to ice it, one pick. Guy got hurt really bad. It was really awful, like an injury. They kept freaking replaying the thing.
Yeah.
Then the offense couldn't do anything and seal the deal. They have to punt it back. Quinn Ewers gets it going for a drive, throws another interception, game over. Yeah. Really, really fun game, exciting. Enjoyed it.
Awesome. Moving right along again. Wake Forest knocks off Boston College. Wake Forest just wins a game.
Yeah. Hartman's 10. A good quarterback.
Yeah.
A good college quarterback. I don't know how he's going to translate the pros, but good for them.
He's they're number 10.
Yeah, they're still in the hunt.
Yeah. Still alive. Penn State knocked off Minnesota 45-17. Penn State's 6-1.
I didn't even bother watching this game. There were other night games that were much more entertaining. But yeah, Penn State, they look good. I think 4 touchdown passes. They got to play Ohio State next week. Yeah. So I expect them to get completely drummed.
Probably so. Cincinnati knocked off SMU 29-27.
They had to make a defensive stop there to win that ball game. I think so. Yeah.
Tulane's ranked. Yeah, go figure. Tulane won.
This was odd. I kept meaning to flip on this game, but I started getting attached to the South Carolina A&M game because I wanted to watch A&M lose again, and they did, which was fun.
Yeah.
They're terrible. They're absolutely awful. Offensively, they're one of the worst football teams I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
They got one guy. They got 2 guys, but they can't really get the football to one of them.
Right. Anything else happen? Texas A&M lost to South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, that was great. South Carolina returns the opening kick. Marshawn Lloyd looked awesome. But Texas A&M has massive quarterback development problems. They got Stewart at wideout, and then they got A-Chain at running back. Both of them are elite players. The only one you really can get the ball consistently to is A-Chain. Just hand it to him.
Right.
They look like crap. Defense, they've got some really talented players on defense. I think they've kind of checked out.
Yeah.
They're 3-4. Below 500, I think this is the downward spiral because they still have, I think they've got LSU, Ole Miss, and one other team that's fairly decent left on their schedule. They could lose 3 more games easy.
They got Arkansas, don't they?
They beat Arkansas.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess let's talk about next week's games. Mm-hmm. At noon next Saturday, we got Ohio State and Penn State.
Noon kickoff. At Penn State. I wonder if they're going to white out.
I think, probably so, I would imagine.
That'd be good. That's the game to watch. Well, you got a couple of good games on that early slate.
Yeah.
TCU at West Virginia, Notre Dame at Syracuse, Oklahoma at Iowa State. Probably won't be a great watch, but it'd be something you can flip back and forth to.
Georgia Tech against Florida State.
Georgia Tech's playing a lot better since they fired the coach. Although the quarterback got hurt and they looked like absolute crap on Thursday night with the backup in.
Yeah. 3:30, Georgia, Florida. I will be in Jacksonville for that one. I'll be tailgating. The atmosphere is probably going to be off the chain.
Miami's playing Virginia. Miami got blown out by Duke, and Mario Cristobal called out his team. Mm-hmm. They're trash basically now. I still don't see how Todd McShay had the quarterback ranked as high as he did because he looks like crap.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. You get Oregon taking on Cal at 3:30.
Oklahoma State, Kansas State, 3:30. That's going to be a great game.
Interesting matchup.
Wake Forest at Louisville. Louisville pulled out the upset win over Pitt yesterday, which I was surprised that they won that game. Satterfield's kind of in the hot seat, but that win last night might have saved his job. They're using NIL really, really well. They've got a lot of top recruits committed to them, so a lot of fan bases like myself is looking for Satterfield to get let go, so some of these kids look elsewhere.
Yeah.
He might have saved his job, at least for the season, by beating Pitt.
Yeah, and you can get a ticket for that game for $10.
That's not bad at all. No. Louisville's a fun city.
Illinois is going to Nebraska at 3:30 on ABC.
I think if they win this game, they and Jerry will tell me, and he'll be watching this video, I'm sure.
Yeah.
If they win, they are in. Yeah. They're pretty much locked.
So we may be going to the...
Yeah, we're going to Indianapolis. We're going to Indy.
All right. Cincinnati taking on UCF at 3:30.
They got beat last night by East Carolina. UCF looks like crap. John Rice Plumlee can't hit a single wide receiver. He's terrible. Should have kept him at running back at Ole Miss.
USC's taking on Arizona at 6 o'clock. That'd be number
Kentucky
12.
at Tennessee at 7 o'clock at night. That's going to be a can't-miss game.
Yep.
Kentucky isn't going to win this game. Tennessee's going to roll them fairly easy, but they're going to inflict physical damage on Tennessee. That's just what Kentucky does. You'll beat them. They're not the greatest football team, and I still think that with their magical season last year, they weren't that great, but they will bludgeon you pretty good. You're going to get beat up playing them.
Yeah, they're going to have to work, and they get a big matchup the following week against Georgia.
They come to Athens.
Yep, $266. It's amazing, winning will do for your program, right? I mean, $266 to get a secondary market ticket right now.
I'll flip that game and then this one right here, the Michigan State.
Yeah,
that'll be a fun game. 7:30 at night at the Big House.
Yeah. It's kind of disappointing that Michigan State hadn't played well this season.
No, they hadn't. I know my buddy Patrick will be there. He's a Michigan alum, and he was working for the team when they won their title. And I think it was '97. They just had the the anniversary of it, and he was there, and he got some cool swag from that event. So I'm sure he'll be at that game.
Cool. Ole Miss is going to be at Texas A&M. Maybe a 7:30 start next Saturday. Could be a good game for Ole Miss to get right on.
Yes, Ole Miss can right the ship and kind of save their season.
Right.
While A&M's on a downward spiral. I don't know, though. There's like zero consistency with Ole Miss. At least Texas A&M, rather, is consistently shitty. So they've got some kind of consistency.
Right.
Ole Miss, you never know what you're gonna get. They're gonna run the football down your throat, and then the next possession they're gonna go for -8 yards rushing.
Yeah.
And they're so inconsistent. I'd like to see them play a quality game for all 4 quarters. But I will be pulling for them to beat A&M because it's always fun when Texas A&M loses.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's taking on North Carolina in North Carolina next Saturday. They're number 22 in the country. Look at that.
I don't see how this. They're a bad football team.
Stanford, your favorite team, is going to be taking on UCLA. They're probably going to get drum rolled out of the stadium. I
hate both teams, but I will be the biggest UCLA Bruins fan watching that game because Stanford can suck a big fat one.
That's right. And Wyoming's taking on Hawaii at 11:59.
Midnight football.
Game. Yeah. That would be kind of cool to go out there and check out a game one day. Yeah. $35 to get in the stadium. Yeah.
Drink my beer and my flip-flops, shorts, and Hawaiian shirt. It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, that kind of concludes this week's episode. Anything you want to add?
No, we got what do we got over here for this Thursday matchups?
You got Virginia Tech,
NC State would be worth watching at 7:30. Yeah. Friday, East Carolina.
Utah game Thursday night.
Yeah, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to watch that so I can talk about it with my boss. I'll be tired the next day. East Carolina, BYU is looking terrible. They're dropping games left and right. They got blown up at Liberty yesterday.
Wasn't that the game last year they played East Carolina? They got beat.
Yeah, that was Coastal. They couldn't stop the running attack from Coastal Carolina.
That's right.
But 8 o'clock Friday night, probably worth the watch.
The LaVelle Edwards Stadium. Yeah, see, I'd like to go out there and watch a game.
I would too. That'd be a great atmosphere.
Yeah, that or Utah.
My boss keeps telling me that Utah, as a state, Utah State, and BYU are all great places to watch football.
I don't see why we haven't already made arrangements.
I know, right?
So I guess that concludes this week's episode. We'll be talking about week 9 come Sunday, probably later episode, because I don't know what time we'll get back in town, but we'll be doing an episode. I can guarantee that. All right, well, you guys have a good day.
See ya.
Well.